Namatharine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajamadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradarana Para.
Hare Krishna. We'd like to welcome all of our YouTube Live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our listeners over Zoom. We welcome all of you to day 3 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we proceed, today we'd like to congratulate and announce the names of the devotees who participated in yesterday's quiz session. We'd like to congratulate Meena Mataji. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Flavier, Shama Supriya, Vijeta Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. And thanks to Ranjani Gopika for sharing all the answers in all the groups that she's doing the service so wonderfully, so faithfully. So we are so grateful to her. Hare Krishna.
So today we will discuss and establish the supremacy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Can we have the slideshow, please? Because before we enter into the nectar of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we need to at least theoretically accept Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And slowly, Lord Chaitanya will then reveal and reciprocate with our faith. Because many of the historical accounts and the academic accounts of Lord Chaitanya, they paint a picture that Lord Chaitanya was a saintly person. He was a God-conscious saint who appeared in India in 16th century. Even the Encyclopedia Britannica documents Lord Chaitanya as a charismatic Hindu preacher who simply popularized the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, congregational chanting, but there is no mention of his supreme identity. Even devotees within the Vedic tradition, may not be Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but other Vaishnavas, they are often unaware that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually Lord Krishna himself. In fact, many of the Vaishnava theologians, the devotees, they explain the reason why this lack of widespread acknowledgement is there, why people don't know that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, even though it has been established so many times. Why people just think, yeah, Lord Chaitanya, he's a great devotee of the Lord. And that is because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he inaugurated himself as a Channa avatar. Channa avatar, Channa means secret, as a secret incarnation who specifically appeared in the guise of a devotee to teach everyone how to become a devotee.
And Lord Chaitanya, he never actually brought attention. He never attracted attention to himself. Rather, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he simply promoted the process of Harinam Sankirtan. In fact, when Lord Chaitanya in public would be glorified as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would vehemently deny such claims because he didn't want to set it as a precedence that in the future, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yad yad acharati sreshthas tat tad evitaro jana, that whatever great men do, common men follow. So just as a precedence, as to set an example so that others, unscrupulous people later who are just regular devotees, they should not take the example of Lord Chaitanya and call themselves to be God, proclaim themselves to be God, or accept themselves to be God.
Because, the main thing in Kali Yuga is quarrel and hypocrisy, and that is because of enviousness. If God comes here today, people will be envious of God. Hey, I want to be like God. I want to be like him. If someone becomes great, everyone says, rather than taking inspiration from them by acknowledging their greatness, they become envious and try to pull him down and try to imitate him. So in Kali Yuga, Krishna said, I will come as a devotee. And if you're envious, if you want to be like me, be like Lord Chaitanya. If you want to imitate, you follow me as devotee. Try to be a devotee as me, not try to be a God. Therefore, Krishna in Kali Yuga never comes as God, as the Supreme Personality. He only comes in the end of Kali Yuga as Kalki Avatar, when he's just having to liberate everyone and kill them. But before then, he does not appear as Supreme Personality of God. He either appears as the holy name, sound vibration, or he appears as a devotee because of the envious nature of the Lord. Therefore, he wanted to be a Channa avatar. He wanted to say, no, don't let them think I'm God. Let them think I'm a devotee, a great devotee, and then they will try to imitate and follow me as a devotee rather than follow me as God. However, when one carefully explores these devotional Vedic literatures, then we understand the full significance of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the bhakti movement that he inaugurated. So many millions worshipped him as the Supreme Lord in his own lifetime, and among them were such great individuals, acharyas of highest learning and intelligence. And on very rare occasions, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu also revealed his divine form and identity to these great devotees.
So can we have the next slide, please? So today we will try to see some parameters by which we can identify who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There may be so many people who can claim to be God, but what is the authority on the basis of their claim? What is the basis of their claim? So we need to know how we can identify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is a safe parameter that we are going to discuss today, SAFE. SAFE stands for, S stands for scriptural authority. A stands for astrology and attributes. F stands for the authorities, following the authorities. And E stands for extraordinary activities. So if any of these parameters fit into a personality, then they can be declared to be the Supreme Personality of God. So today we will explore into these four categories. First, let us see the scriptural authority of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
And here, actually, if we see, to identify anyone who comes and says, I am God, we need to test them based on these safe parameters. One time when I was in the ashram in 1996, 97 to 98, there were big posters in Mumbai that Kalki Avatar is coming, the Kalki Avatar is coming. And the whole of Mumbai actually was eager to see this Kalki Avatar, because Kalki Avatar is predicted in the scriptures. And so the devotees were also interested. And so a group of brahmacharis, we took Srila Prabhupada's books and put a book table right at the entrance of this Kalki Avatar's programs. And all the people were coming in very excited. Kalki Avatar, Kalki Avatar. And then we were all selling Srila Prabhupada's books, telling them, look, we were actually selling Hare Krishna Challenge. And the cover of Hare Krishna Challenge is the photo of Kalki Avatar, who is coming on a horse and killing all the people. And so you'd say, you want to know about Kalki Avatar? Here's the book. Here's the book. This book will tell you about the Kalki Avatar. And people were probably thinking that, we are sponsored by Kalki. But yes, we were sponsored by the real Kalki Avatar. And we didn't want to disturb them or their faith. We just said, take this book and you'll know about Kalki. And some of them, when they went in, we saw that before the program started, they were reading the book of Kalki Avatar, and they were reading Srila Prabhupada's words. And we identified the place where Srila Prabhupada says when Kalki Avatar would come at the end of Kali Yuga, which is 427,000 years from now. It's totally 432,000 years, and in 5,000 years have passed of Kali Yuga. In 427,000 years, Kalki Avatar would come. And all his attributes, he will come. His parents' name would be Vishnu Yasha, his father's name. He would come in a place called Shambhal. And all these things are predicted in the scriptures in Srimad Bhagavatam. Everyone was reading that. And then when Kalki Avatar came, they thought he'll come on a horse, that he'll come on with beautiful attributes.
And a sword in his hand.
And a sword. But he was just a simple man with beard. He had so many different things. And he spoke after that in the question-answer session. Many of the people asked. But here, they quoted Srila Prabhupada, it says that you will come on a horse. Where is your horse? What is your father's name? Is it Vishnu Yasha? Because it says in the scripture. So in order to identify any incarnation or identify the Lord, we must follow this safe principle, which will prove beyond doubt that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of God.
Next slide, please. So now first let us examine some of the scriptural authority that establishes the supremacy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So first, of course, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself established in the Srimad Bhagavatam in 11th canto, 5th chapter, text 32. It states, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangapanga Straparashadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayair Yajanti Sumedhasaha, which means,
in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the holy name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So here, Krishna Varnam denotes that Lord Chaitanya belongs to the category of Krishna, or he is like the Vishnu Tattva. He is Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam also means one who constantly describes. Varnana. Varnana means one who describes. So Krishna Varnam, one who constantly chants the holy name of Krishna.
Then Tvisha Akrishnam. Tvisha Akrishnam means that the complexion of this personality is not going to be black, but it's going to be Akrishna. Means it's going to be a golden, molten gold complexion.
Sangha Upanga Astra Parshadam. Now remember, this has been predicted 4,500 years before Lord Chaitanya even appeared. Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami is speaking this. Lord Chaitanya will come as Sangha Upanga Astra Parshadam. His Astra, every incarnation who comes, he comes with some weapon or the other. Lord Ram has his arrow, Nrsingadev has his nails, Parshuram has his axe, Balaram has his plow, Kalki has his sword. So many, everyone has the Astra. But when Krishna comes, the original personality as Lord Chaitanya, his Astra is Sangha Upanga, the association of devotees of his Parshada. He comes with his confidential associates. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, because he does not want to kill the sinful people. He wants to kill the sinful propensity within the people.
And Yagyai Sankirtana Praye means he's going to inaugurate the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And Yajanti hi Sumedha Saha. Medha. Medha means one who's very intelligent. Sumedha means super intelligent. One who is super intelligent will participate in this Sankirtan Yagya of inaugurated by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So this is the prediction in Srimad Bhagavatam. Next slide, please. Next, we have a quotation from the Garuda Purana. Garuda Purana states that in the first part of Kali Yuga, I will appear in my complete spiritual form in Maya Purnavadweep and become the son of Mother Shachi. So his name, not only his name, but even, this is Krishna himself who is speaking in the Garuda Purana. It is being quoted here. And he's saying that my mother's name is going to be Sachi. And I will appear in Mayapurnavadweep as the son of Mother Sachi. So this is how in the Garuda Purana, Lord Krishna himself is declaring that he will appear as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as the son of Mother Shachi.
Next slide, please. Again in Garuda Purana, it says, in the first part of Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord in the golden complexion will become the husband of Lakshmi. Then he will become a sannyasi and reside near Lord Jagannath. And this is what we see in Lord Chaitanya's life. He married his eternal consort, Srimati Lakshmi Priya, as we can see on the top. And later he took sannyas at the age of 24. At that time he left Navadvip and resided in Puri, the holy city of Lord Jagannath in Orissa. This is all predicted before even Lord Chaitanya came. Then, next slide, please. Again, Garuda Puran also says that the Supreme Lord, who took delight in his pastimes with the gopis, who filled the residence of Vrindavan with joy day and night, who slew Kamsa, who made friends with the Pandavas in the battle between the Kauravas, will without any doubt come again to the earth. He'll be a sannyasi with the name Chaitanya, whose arm will be decorated with a bamboo stick.
Harihari. So we can see here that how, the same Krishna, not an avatar, but the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, is coming as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who will become a sannyasi. So here, just like Krishna is the source of all incarnations, like we were discussing yesterday, he is, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsam Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. That Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya is none other than that same Krishna who has come in this golden form and who took sannyas and who is decorated with the sannyas danda, the bamboo stick resting on his shoulders. This is the prediction in the Garuda Purana.
And it says, Nisandeham upagata kshititale Chaitanya Rupa Prabhu. Without any doubt, Nisandeh, he'll come.
Very well. Next slide, please. So now let's try to see. Now we saw some of the scriptural authorities that establish the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya, the prediction about Lord Chaitanya. So we have S that we have covered. Now let's see some of the astrology and some of the attributes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Do they match with Krishna?
And they are predicted in scriptures as well.
Next slide, please.
So in Bhavishya Purana, it is said, O austere sage, everyone will see my transcendental form as a sannyasi in the age of Kali. I'll be displaying the symptoms like shedding tears of bliss and hair standing on end out of ecstasy. And this was fulfilled by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. What the Lord is actually explaining in Bhavishya Purana is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, Jesus Christ is predicted in Bhavishya Puran. Prophet Muhammad is predicted in Bhavishya Puran. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is also predicted in Bhavishya Purana. Next slide, please.
In Vayu Purana, it is said, on the full moon day of the month of Falgun, conjoined with the star Falguni, I will appear in a golden form, begotten by Purandara in the womb of Sachi. You know, Purandara is another name of Sri Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra, one of his other names is Purandara, and therefore here he is called as Purandara, and he is appearing. It is said, Krishna himself is saying in Vayu Purana that I will appear in the, according to astrological calculations, here he is saying that on the full moon day in the month of Falgun, I will appear in the golden form from Purandara in the womb of Mother Shachi. Jai Shri Sachinandana Vishwambharni Mai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai.
So here we are telling how astrologically he's been predicted and how his attributes, like in the previous verse, we understood his attributes. He'll be crying in the form of a sannyasi, shedding tears. So his attributes are also predicted. Next slide, please. In Vishnu Sahasranama, it says that Suvarna Varna Hemango
Varangas Chandanangadi Sanyasakrit Shama Shanta Nishta Shanti Parayanaha.
Here, it indicates the bodily features of Lord Chaitanya and indicates different qualities of Lord Chaitanya. So attributes and qualities, features and qualities are explained here. The first two lines explain the bodily features of Lord Chaitanya. Suvarna Varna. This is in Mahabharata. This is part of Vishnu Sahasranam. So many millions of people, they chant Vishnu Sahasranam and chant this particular verse without realizing that they are actually chanting the prediction of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Suvarna Varna, which means he has a golden complexion. Hemanga, he has the appearance of molten gold. Varanga, which means he's exquisitely beautiful. Chandanangadi, his body is smeared with sandalwood pulp.
Then the next two lines describe that Sanyasakrit Shama Shanta, which means that Sanyasakrit means he will accept the renounced order of life. He will become a sannyasi. And Sama, he will be, equipoised. He will be self-controlled. completely equipoised. Shanta, he's always peaceful. Nishtha, he is rigidly fixed in chanting the holy names of Krishna. And Nishtha Shanti Parayana. Shanti Parayana means he's the highest abode of devotion and peace. He silences the impersonalist philosophers. And because, we see from the attributes of Lord Chaitanya, his life, that how Lord Chaitanya just defeated so many, in so many philosophical debates, scriptural debates, he established the principles of Vaishnavism. So Shanti Parayana means he establishes very, very beautifully, devotionally, he establishes the tenets of Bhakti Yoga, of devotion to Krishna. This is the quotation and the directive that is given in Vishnu Sahasranam from Sri Mahabharata.
Next slide, please. So now we understood how Lord Chaitanya is predicted in the scriptures, how his, according to astrology and different attributes that are predicted in the scriptures as well. Now let's see what different authorities tell about Lord Chaitanya. F, follow authorities. Next slide, please. This is Goddess Saraswati who revealed the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya to none other than Keshav Kashmiri. Keshav Kashmiri was a Digvijay Pandit. In those days, there would not be so much of boxing matches and the World Wrestling Federation matches and chess matches and things like that. If you want to establish your intelligence, then there would be debates. And this Digvijay Pandit, he would go in every place and challenge the scholars there to debate him in logic, in nyaya, in so many different things, in shastras. And he had defeated everyone because he had a special benediction from Goddess Saraswati herself, that whenever he speaks, she will appear on his tongue and make him win. And his reputation was such that everyone was afraid. Wherever he would go, without debating, they would just say, okay, you win, because they don't want to get exposed and defeated in front of so many people. So they would just say, okay, you win. And then it was told that Keshav Kashmiri will come to Navadvip. Navadvip in those days, in 1400s and 1500s, was the high seat of learning on Vedic Shastras. It was like today, Harvard University and the Stanford University, all these universities are considered to be highest. Oxford University, everyone wants admission there. It's famous all over the world. Similarly, Navadvip was in Navadvip town. Everyone who wanted to get a higher degree would actually come there. That was the place of learning. And so Keshav Kashmiri said, if I win in Navadvip, then my supremacy will be established. And so when the scholars of Navadvip came to know Keshav Kashmiri is coming, they became afraid. They will defeat me. So then they will defeat us. So they said, you know what, this little Nimai, he's a little boy and he is a bit scholarly as well. So if we keep little Nimai to debate with Keshav Kashmiri, we are in a win-win situation. Because if little Nimai loses, everyone will say, we can say, yeah, he was just a little boy. So yeah, you defeated a little boy, so what? But if he wins, then Keshav Kashmiri will never dare to come to Navadvip. Because if any one of us go, we are sure we'll be defeated by Keshav Kashmiri. He's blessed by Goddess Saraswati herself.
So then Keshav Kashmiri, he came on the bank of the Ganges and then he started, composing verses after verses after verses, glorifying Mother Ganga. And Nimai, little Nimai Pandit, tiny little scholar, he was sitting, he was listening the glorifications of Mother Ganga. And then after Keshav Kashmiri finished speaking, Nimai Pandit started pointing out that, there was some defect. There was some mistake that you made in verse such and such. And there is some mistakes that you made. So therefore, Nimai corrected Keshav Kashmiri. And Keshav Kashmiri was so disturbed. This has never happened before. How could Nimai Pandit, catch these kind of, intricate details? How could he catch them? Keshav Kashmiri was shocked. In a great state of very big disturbance, in the middle of the night, he fell asleep. And in his dream, Goddess Saraswati appeared, and Goddess Saraswati told him that, my dear Keshav Kashmiri, who do you think you have offended? You have offended, who is my master? He is my Lord. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please do not do this. You have to go and beg for forgiveness from the Lord. So then the early next day morning, Keshav Kashmiri ran to Lord Chaitanya. He ran to Nimai Pandit and he surrendered to the lotus feet of Nimai Pandit. And he said, my dear Lord, please forgive me. So here we see through this pastime, we told this pastime in a very, all the pastimes that we say in this section are going to be very, very concise, very small, because we are going to expand upon them when we actually dive into the pastimes, when these pastimes appear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please stay tuned for more details on the Keshav Kashmiri pastime. But here we are focusing on the fact that Goddess Saraswati, she established the supremacy of Nimai Pandit, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Keshav Kashmiri and to the entire world.
Next slide, please. Here we see how Lord Nrsingadev revealed to Chand Kazi the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya. When Chand Kazi was doing atrocities on the devotees and not allowing them to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra congregationally, Lord Chaitanya started the first civil disobedience movement, even before Mahatma Gandhi started it. The first one was Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Hundreds and thousands of devotees marched from Navadvip to the palace of Chand Kazi with mashal in their hands, with torches in their hands. And Chand Kazi was really to know what to do. And then they had some discussion. Then after that, Chand Kazi tried to pacify Lord Chaitanya. He said, okay, I'll look into it. I'll make sure people don't do anything. But then when he went back to go to sleep, as we can see in the photograph behind, we can see when Chand Kazi was sleeping in his dream, voila, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nrsingadev came, appeared, and Chand Kazi was, what are you? You're a lion, you're a human being, you have so many hands, what's going on? And then Nrsingadev was just going on roaring. And then when he understood Chand Kazi is sufficiently submissive now, Lord Nrsingadev revealed to him, who you offended is none other than Lord Chaitanya, is none other than me. I am Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is me. You will go tomorrow and beg forgiveness from me. And Chand Kazi, the next day, he just woke up and he ran. He ran to find, where is Lord Chaitanya? Where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He went and he surrendered to him. He paid obeisances. He said, I'm transformed. I'm transformed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, everyone asked, what happened? What happened? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was smiling. And he said, I don't know. There was this weird person. He had the face of a lion, and then he has so many hands, and he had the body of a human being, and he was just roaring and making me so fearful. He told me to surrender to him. I accept Lord Chaitanya's Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Nrsingadev himself revealed, this is one of the authorities revealing the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya. Next slide, please.
Next, we have Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu, who accepted Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Advaitacharya, he knew that he was the one who actually called for the Supreme Lord to descend. And by seeing the activities that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was performing, he could understand that this is that same personality who is predicted in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He is the same authority who is revealed in all of the scriptures. This is Krishna himself who has come as his dearmost devotee, taking on the mood and the complexion of his dearmost devotee, Srimati Radharani. Advaita Acharya accepted the supremacy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So this is how we know that Krishna is coming as Lord Chaitanya himself, and they are the supreme person. Next slide, please.
And then an authority like Prakashananda Saraswati, who is there, you can see holding the hand of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He was the leader of the Mayavadi sannyasis in Varanasi. He had 40,000 sannyas disciples in the houseship of Mayavad. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu went there and debated with them and melted their heart with his humility and his scholarship, and defeated the Mayavadi philosophy in such a way that he did not break the heart of Prakashananda Saraswati. He defeated the philosophy but loved the person. And as a result, Prakashananda Saraswati, the leader of the Mayavadis, became a devotee of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And he was revealed that he accepted him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, because he said, no one else can debate like this. No one else can explain the scriptures the way you have explained. So you must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he surrendered along with his 40,000 disciples to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and accepted him as their spiritual master and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next slide, please.
Next, we have Srila Prabhupada himself, who is our Shiksha Guru. Srila Prabhupada is the preeminent Shiksha Guru who has revealed all the scriptures to us. And he establishes, Srila Prabhupada establishes Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is based on the revealed scriptures and on the Acharyas. So based on the authority of the Acharyas, based on the authority of the revealed scriptures, Srila Prabhupada establishes Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as followers of Srila Prabhupada, we accept this verdict of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada is our Acharya and we accept whatever Srila Prabhupada is saying to us. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Next slide, please.
So now we understood from scriptural authority, from the attributes and astrology of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then we understood what different authorities tell about Lord Chaitanya. Now let's see what Lord Chaitanya tells about Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To these specific authorities, he revealed himself as the Supreme Personality of God. Next slide, please.
So here we'll start from the childhood of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, little Nimai. He reveals himself as Gopal. You see, this pastime we'll of course talk in more detail when we actually talk about the pastime in the chronology of the events coming up. But there was this Brahmana who visited the home of Jagannath Mishra, and every time he cooked an offering, he was very, very devoted to his little Gopal deity. And whenever that Brahmana would offer the bhoga to his little Gopal, Nimai would come and eat that offering. And he would say, hi, what happened, Nimai? You are spoiling my offering. 3 times Nimai did this. Every time the Brahmana would cook an offer, every time Nimai would come and eat that rice. So then the 3rd time, Lord Chaitanya, little Nimai, he revealed himself that who you're worshipping as little Gopal, that's me. I am now in this golden form. So recognize me. And Lord Nimai, little Nimai, he revealed himself as Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the same Gopal. and he revealed it to this Brahmana in utter confidentiality. He said, keep this secret, but I'm just telling it to you. You're very dear to me. So Nimai himself revealed, next slide please, Nimai himself revealed to this little Brahmana about himself to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. Next slide please.
Then Lord Chaitanya revealed his form as Krishna to Sri Kolavecha Sridhar. Kolavecha means one who sells bananas. And little Nimai would come and bargain with Kolavecha Sridhar for his bananas. And Kolavecha Sridhar was so poor. But then little Nimai would come and say, okay, how much for these bananas? How much do you see for these bananas? And he would say, maybe 8 annas or something of that sort. And you say, oh, this is too much. I will give you 4 annas. He said, what? 4 annas? Whatever I get, 50% of it I offer to Mother Ganga in service of Mother Ganga. And the rest 50% I use for my sustenance. If you cut that 50% from me up front, how am I going to sustain myself? And he would say, no, I'll give you 4 annas. If you bargain more with me, argue with me, I will give you 2 annas. So then Kolavecha Sridhar, he would just be so mesmerized by little Nimai's wonderful words and his beauty that he would say, I don't know why. I just don't feel like arguing with me. I just feel like doing whatever you say. You can take it for free. I don't even mind that. But please come again and bargain with me. That is my eternal desire. So, and then because of that devotion of Kolavecha Sridhar, little Nimai then revealed himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all his incarnations. Next slide, please.
Next, we have Murari Gupta. We all know Murari Gupta is none other than Lord Hanuman. You know, he's the incarnation of Hanuman. He was very attached to Lord Ramachandra. But one time, in the home of Murari Gupta, Lord Chaitanya, he was, listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, and Murari Gupta was reciting it. And that time he was, describing the pastime of Lord Varaha. And suddenly Lord Chaitanya got into such ecstasy that he was so moved by the reading, the devotional reading of Murari Gupta, that he immediately went on to say, Shukara, Shukara, Shukara. Shukara means, a boar. So he remembered Shukara, Shukara like that, and he immediately manifested the form of Varahadev. So Murari Gupta was revealed that, look, I am that same Varahadev. Lord Chaitanya revealed to Murari Gupta. Jai Shri Murari Gupta ki jai. Next slide, please.
And then one time he also revealed to Sri Advaita Acharya the universal form.
In fact, Advaita Acharya, Lord Chaitanya would go and visit Advaita Acharya every single day. And one day when Lord Chaitanya went to visit Advaita Acharya said, he was just sitting down, and Lord Chaitanya said, why? What happened? Are you disturbed about something? And Advaita Acharya revealed his mind to the Lord. He said that, my dear Lord, I wish to see that universal form that you revealed to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Can you show me that universal form? I don't know, somehow I'm having that desire to see that universal form of yours. Lord Chaitanya said, of course, here you go. And then he just manifested the universal form and revealed the universal form. The same universal form that was revealed by Krishna himself was revealed by Lord Chaitanya to Sri Advaita Acharya.
Srila Prabhupada says, if anyone says, I am God, then you should ask them, then reveal your universal form, just like you revealed to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, then we can accept you. And Lord Chaitanya did exactly that to establish his supremacy, but only to his very intimate associates and devotees, because others would become envious, and his purpose of coming to this material world to deliver the people would be lost. Next slide, please.
Here, of course, we know this pastime, we've heard this pastime, that how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu reveals his form as a six-handed form of, called as Shadbhuj Mahaprabhu to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Jagannath Puri. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was revealed this form that, who is that same, he had Sadabhuja means six-armed. Six, Shada means six, and Bhuja means arms. So Lord Chaitanya revealed that who is that same Lord Ramachandra? Lord Ramachandra has the two green arms we see on the top, holding the bow and the arrow. His two arms as Krishna holding the flute, the blue arms holding the flute, and the last two arms holding the Kamandalu and the Sannyas Danda. So Lord Chaitanya revealed that I am that same Supreme Personality of Godhead, that one who is Lord Ramachandra, the same Lord Ramachandra is Krishna, and that same Krishna is Lord Chaitanya. So this is Sri Shadbhuj Mahaprabhu ki jai. Next slide, please.
Here we see that when he went on South India Yatra to Sri Ramananda Rai, who was the governor of the Madras province at that time, he revealed his form as Sri Sri Radha and Krishna combined. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Next slide, please.
Harivo. Here in the South India Yatra itself, to a South Indian Brahmana, Lord Chaitanya revealed that he is none other than Lord Ramachandra himself. He showed to this Brahmana that I am not different from that same Lord Ramachandra. Next slide, please.
So with this, we understand how Lord Chaitanya is a safe God. He is proven as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by scriptural authority, by astrology and attributes, by different authorities who have actually established his supremacy, and by his extraordinary activities. So when we dive into the realm of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Gauramrita, we must accept Lord Chaitanya as intellectually, theoretically, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then, by Chitta Chamatkar, then we will see miracles, how miraculously Lord Chaitanya reveals his mercy to us. This is not blind faith. We are not saying we should have, can we end the slideshow, please? This does not say that we have to have blind faith in Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are having practical faith. We have to have faith, but practical faith. Just like when we go to a doctor, if we first see whether he has passed from a reputed institute, whether he has a degree, and because we are going to put our entire body onto that doctor, our life under the knife of that doctor. So is he qualified? Now, we don't go to the extent to check all the way to go to his university and find out if this certificate is really genuine or not. But we could do that if we want. At the same time, we check how many patients went in and how many came out.
Survived.
How many survived his surgery. And then we get recommendations from different other doctors. Is this a good doctor? Is this a good doctor? And then when based on the authority, then we look at his attributes. We talk to him and we see, does he know what he's talking about? And based on the attributes, based on the authority, based on what others are recommending, and based on his own activities and his own claims, then we say, all right, I can afford to have faith in this doctor because I don't know anything about my body. I can have faith. So this is practical faith, not blind faith. We should not have blind faith in anyone or in anything, let alone spiritual things. But today we established we can at least give a benefit of doubt and have a practical faith in Lord Chaitanya being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. And then as we proceed in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we will get experiences which will confirm this faith.
And today, based on the authority, we will sing a song that has been written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Very beautiful song. It is called Harihari, Vifale Janama Gunainu. So the translation is, O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have knowingly drunk poison.
The treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavan has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's names. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of the prison of worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relieve it.
Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Vraja, became the son of Mother Sachi. And Balaram has come as Nitai. The holy name delivered all these souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Madhai, are evidence of this.
O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Rishabhanu, please be merciful to me now. Gautam Das says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet. For who is my beloved except you?
Vivo.
Harihari, Vifale Janama.
Harihari, Vifale Janama. Manusha Janama Maya Radha Krishna Bhajiya Mananiya Shriya Nisha Janiya Shriya Nisha Golokera Premadhana Hari Nama Sankirtana Radina Janila Kere Radina Janila Kere Samsara Vishana Gane Divani Shiniya Jane Judai Tena Koino Judai Tena Koino Rajendranandana Jay Shachi Shanda Vaila Shay Rajana Vaila Nina Rajana Vaila Nina Dina Nina Jata Chino Harina Medharina Tarasasu Jagaina Tarasaki Jagaina Mahaprabhu Nanda Sutta Rishabhanu Sutta Sutta Mahaprabhu Nanda Sutta Rishabhanu Sutta Sutta Karuna 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 Narottama Dasa Goi Narottama Dasa Goi
কাহিনী মোরা জগৎ, তোমার বিনা কে আছে আমার, তোমার বিনা কে আছে আমার। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Vipale Janama Gunainu. Hare Hare Vipale Janama Gunainu. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So before we open for questions, let's discuss the quiz questions. But before then, we'd like to offer some corrections from the first day actually. The first one was we had mentioned that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami was 90 years old when he got the instruction by Lord Nityananda, but actually he was 61 years old at that time. But nonetheless, he writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that I cannot even see properly. I'm completely invalid, let alone writing. How can I possibly do anything for describing Lord Chaitanya's glories? But that was after in 1557, when he was 61 years old. He appeared in 1496, 10 years after Lord Chaitanya's appearance, and he was just a very simple and humble devotee, which we all should aspire to be like and to follow. And the other thing was yesterday I had prompted that Lord Chaitanya offered 21 translations of explanations of the Atmaram verse, but we will see in Chaitanya Charitamrita when he was debating, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was explaining to him, he said 61 explanations of the Atmaram verse. And also the question was, is Krishna a Yuga avatar? So Garga Muni, when he came for the name-giving ceremony of Krishna, he actually told that this person is Triyugi. And Triyugi because the fourth incarnation, which is Lord Chaitanya, is Channa, is a hidden incarnation. And he said that he has appeared previously in the red, white, and yellow complexions, indicating yellow is Lord Chaitanya, red is in Treta Yuga, white is in Satya Yuga, and now he has appeared in the black incarnation, and as the Supreme Personality of God himself, and therefore he is also the Yuga avatar as per Gargamuni. So just wanted to offer some small corrections, and now we can go for the quiz. There are only 2 questions today.
So what is a Channa avatar mean? And the second question is, what is the acronym SAFE? SAFE. So I think these 2 questions actually encompass the entire session. So we thank Divyangi and Prem Vikas Prabhu for the wonderful quiz questions. Now let's open up the lines. Garima, you have a question? And before we open up the lines, thank you, Hema Mataji, for the announcement on the Telegram, about the Telegram group. We request all of you, our dear listeners, that in the chat message just now, we have posted a link to join the Telegram group. So this Telegram group has, short bhajans, all of the bhajans that we sing, and it also has short clips, short stories. So if you would like to join the Telegram group for getting some small videos every day. Please do join that Telegram group.
Garima?
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Tanwar Pranam, all glories to
Beta.
I really love this class a lot. I'll tell you why, because actually this is the first class I've really enjoyed because it was just about stories, and I've never had so many stories in one shot, especially Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu is just my favorite.
Oh,
It's amazing. So I just love this class a lot. I just love Chaitanya Charitamrita and the two books, Chaitanya Mangal and Chaitanya Bhagavat. I've never read those two books, so I'm looking forward to read those two books.
Very good. If you make Lord Chaitanya your favorite, he will make you as his favorite.
and you are already our favorite. So somehow we have some hope that Lord Chaitanya will somehow make us also his favorite.
You are my favorite also. Yeah.
Thank you, Bacha. Thank you so much.
I have two questions. One
Yes.
question is, what color is Kalki?
In the Hare Krishna Challenge book, if you see a painting of Kalki, Srila Prabhupada said he is having the same blue complexion. He actually looks very much like Krishna with a crown, sitting on the horse, and he's just with a sword. But he looks very much like Krishna.
Okay, and why does all these sannyasis carry a stick?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That is actually saying the stick shows that I have dedicated myself to the one absolute truth. It says there is one absolute truth, I've dedicated myself. But Vaishnavas, they carry three sticks, saying that in that one stick, there is actually a bundle of three sticks.
And in the top of that stick, its branches out into two also. If you notice it, the Vaishnava Sannyas Danda, it is straight, and on the top, it's like a fork. It's like this, like a little V on the top, like that.
And it shows that I have dedicated my mind, body, and words to Krishna.
Kai, Mana, Vakya.
Yeah, Manasa, Kaya, Vakya, Vacha, I have dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what that danda indicates. It's not to hit anyone, don't worry.
Yes, Prabhu Mataji, I understand. And I also do this Radha Krishna and then little footprints and a pound.
Beautiful, Bacha. It's so beautiful. Very beautiful. Very pretty.
Thank
Very,
you,
very
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Kirti.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. All glory to the Prabhupada Guru and Gauranga. I was partly listening to your classes when I was finishing something else up, but so I thought it was a really nice class. And I also have one question. I don't have a question really related to today's class. When I was reading a Krishna book once, I was just wondering this.
Okay.
So when Kalia, Krishna actually let Kalia go, he didn't kill Kalia or he didn't attack Kalia.
Yeah.
And Kalia is not sent by Kamsa, but Kalia was trying to harm Vrindavan by poisoning all the waters and everything. Krishna wants to always protect his devotees, but how did he let Kalia get away from doing that? Even though if he asked sorry, it would have put a lot of devotees in Vrindavan in harm. But why did Krishna let Kalia go?
Interesting question, because you see, Kalia, he, when all the poison got out from Kalia, by Krishna's, stamping on his hood so much, and Kalia was literally left almost lifeless. And at that time, the wives of Kalia, they came, the Nagapatnis, they came and they appealed to Krishna that Krishna, please, please, please let our husband go. He's already so lifeless. So now you've taken out all the poison, you've taken out all the badness from him, you've taken out all his demoniac propensities, you've taken out all his poison. But please, spare him so that his children won't be orphaned and we won't be widowed. So please spare our husband. So Krishna, he is Sharanagata Vatsala. He is the one who always, cares for anyone who surrenders to him. That is one great quality of Krishna. In fact, so that is the reason why Krishna, he could not, say no to that heartfelt appeal of the Nagapatnis, of the wives of Kalia. And even at that time, seeing the, appeal from his wives, even at that time, Kalia himself also surrendered to Krishna. That Krishna, please forgive me. I have really wronged. I have done so much wrong here. So please forgive me. So Kalia also begged for forgiveness. And that is the reason why Krishna forgave Kalia. He forgave Kalia. So similarly, we see even the same kind of, thing was displayed even by Lord Ramachandra. When Vibhishana came to Lord Ramachandra, everyone said, no, we should not trust Vibhishana. And Hanuman said, no, we should trust him. And Lord Ram said that what to speak of Vibhishana, he is coming and surrendering to me. I cannot let him go just like that because he's surrendering to me. I cannot let him go. And Lord Ramachandra says at that time, he says, even if Ravana, right now, if he comes and surrenders to me, I will forgive him. That is the mercy that is the compassion of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And if any of the other demons of Vrindavan would have surrendered to Krishna, he would have let them go as well. In fact, to Putana, even though she didn't surrender, but she just fed him or acted to feed him. He just took that as a positive sign and gave her the position of a nurse.
Haribo. So hope that answers your question, beta.
Yes, Mataji Prabhuji, I understand now. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji, for a beautiful session. Thank you. Hari.
Thank you, beta. Haribol, Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Okay, if no question, we can end here today. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhya.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji.
Yes, Ram Shyam Das.
Yeah, Prabhuji, Dandut Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, to Prabhuji and Mataji. So I was just wondering, the Kesava Kashmiri, you to Mahaprabhu, found that what was the defect in his 100 verses composed, what he composed on Mother Ganga. So if you can elaborate that one, that will be good. Prabhuji, I heard in the lecture, Bhavani Bhartur or something word it came, like he said Bhavani Bhartur something. So if you can give the word meaning of that also means so that will be very good, So I did not catch up more in the lecture.
Yes. Thank you so much for asking the question. But that's why we were mentioning that today, what we mentioned in the past times, we are just giving the highlights, because if we want to go into details, we must wait for the, because these pastimes are described elaborately. So when we are going to actually come there, when we are actually starting the, the chronological life of Lord Chaitanya through the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Chaitanya Bhagavad, Chaitanya Mangala. So these pastimes are very detailedly discussed at that time. So if you can have a little patience, we can discuss at that time. It will be very soon, because this is the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. It will come in maybe, I would say, next week itself. We will be discussing this.
Sure, Mataji. So, of course.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a really wonderful and very, very nectarious. And knowing Mahaprabhu, as as you are presenting with so much of the details in the PowerPoint presentation as well, we understand how much efforts it require to create these all things. So good, Mataji and Prabhuji. It's very, very wonderful. Thank you so much for giving such a
We're
wonderful.
very grateful.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, we will look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow again. Kripasya kripa sindhubhye
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Thank you very
अनंत
much.
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।